Oh, hello. Don't mind me. Sorry, folks. Looks like you've just busted me on my night shift. Listening to Donald Where's Your Trousers. Welcome to another Whiskey Web Wednesday. I might as well take you around the distillery for a little tour since you're here on my night shift. For any good night shift, you need a good supply of toffees. So make sure you're well tooled up, because you've got to stay here and keep an eye on everything. So you've got to have food, water, and beverages like whiskey. So let's have a little look. Okay, we'll start at the mash tun here. So if you come and have a look inside, you can see 1 ton of beautiful BC pale malted barley mixed with hot water. So we're making mash for a future single malt whiskey right now. And you've got me in the stage where I'm actually pumping this over to the fermenter. This is the underback. This is the wort. So you can see the clarity of the wort. Earlier on in the mashing process, we actually recirculate the wort back through the mash, through the grained bread, and it starts off all cloudy, and eventually it gets clear as we recirculate it. So this is the clear wort, which is now getting pumped over to the fermenter, and it's getting pumped over at about 60 odd degrees centigrade, and on the way it goes through a cooling unit, and then this cools it down to 20 degrees centigrade. So let's go and see where it's going. Today we're filling fermenter 6, which is actually our sneaky fermenter in the back room here. It's a bit noisy with the boiler, so I'm not going to say anything, we'll just have a quick look. Okay, so that was fermenter 6 filling up, and we fill it up with 5,000 litres of wort, and I've already pitched the yeast in there, so I added the yeast, and all those yeasts are going to multiply and turn all those good sugars, fermentable sugars, into CO2 and alcohol. Let's have a look at fermenter 5. This is one that was done for the morning shift today, so we're doing 2 shifts a day at the moment. It's quite calm at the moment, it's just starting to bubble. Let's have a look at yesterday. And you can see it's quite active, this one. Whew, strong smell. Lots of candy floss, malty aromas. This here is our wash still. So this is 5,000 litres capacity, and at the start of the shift I filled this from fermenter 6, and you can see here the shape of the still. It's about 18 feet tall, it's got a slightly downward sloping line arm, so we're going to pull in some of those heavier volatiles when we're making our wash. Our wash comes out at about 8% alcohol on average. So that's after the first distillation, the low wines distillation. You can see here what's coming out of the wash still at the moment in the spirit safe. It's currently coming out around about 30% alcohol by volume. But on average, we'll end up with about 21 to 22% ABV from the low wines distillation. So we've gone from 8% alcohol wash up to 22% for the low wines. Obviously not strong enough yet for whiskey. We need to be at least 40% by law. So we do a second distillation, this time on the spirit still. And this one here is a bit smaller, 4,000 litres, and we fill it with 2/3 low wines and 1/3 faints. So that gives us about 4,000 litres in there. Same again, distill it, the vapours rise up the neck, over the swan neck, down the line arm, through this shell and tubed condenser here, which has cold water running through it, and that's turning the vapours back into liquid. And you can see here the spirit still is currently coming out as tails, so we're past the hearts. We start off with the heads, and then we go to the hearts, and then we go to the tails. So the heads and the tails go in the same tank at the back, and that's called the faints. The hearts go in the intermediate spirit receiver, which then gets directed to the final spirit receiver in the corner of the room over here. So here in the final spirit receiver in the corner there, we'll have 6 or 7 runs of hearts all blended together. We'll dilute it down from about 72% alcohol to 63.5%, and then it will go in the big truck, which then goes to the barn for barreling. And we'll end up with probably around 25 casks or so from each full final spirit receiver. So this is my very important job here as a distiller at Shelter Point, is to make the new make spirit, to make it good quality. Let's go and sample some. If you've not smelled new make before, you get this kind of like hot stones smell. And because we have a long fermentation here at Shelter Point, it's quite fruity as well. You get some of the fruity notes, and also the malt notes too. So as you can see, new make spirit nice and clear, but once it's aged in the barrel, we'll draw that colour and a lot of extra flavour from the barrel too. But it all starts here with new make spirit. It's good enough to drink by itself. But then, say for example with the smoke and oak, after about 4 years, 5 years, we get that nice colour there and a lot of extra flavour. The maturation mellows it out, makes it nice and smooth. So I hope you enjoyed that brief little tour on my night shift. Thanks for joining me, keeping me company. It's a bit quiet around here, so I'm glad you guys could join. If you have any questions about the production process here at Shelter Point, then let me know, or any other production related questions in general. I'll be happy to answer and help you the best of my knowledge. So cheers everyone, thanks for joining us, and see you on the next video. And don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.